Hi, welcome to Opsrace training program. In today's session, we'll look at JavaScript object notation. This is the technique that JavaScript used to represent the information. So let's look at some information. So this is basically information about a car, and this is a complex information. Why complex? Because this information consists of multiple attributes: registration number, make and model. And here are the values. So usually we call them attributes or fields, and we call them values. In order to represent this information in JavaScript, we have to create an object. So this is a complex object or an object which contains multiple fields. So we would create an attribute called registration number, and LX901 is the value. So this is the first information we placed inside this. So we have encapsulated this information in these curly braces. We already know that this curly brace start and end means we have defined an object with these attributes. Then we can define make here, and the value is else when, model, Lumiere or something like that. So that's how we can represent the information that I just showed you here. So this is basically the information that is represented. That's how it might look like. And if we make it a bit more complex, so let's say we have an attribute called features, and it contains list of feature. List is basically an array. Array start from 0 subscript so this could be index or the position at the 0th position. It's DCT, and the first position is sunroof. In programming languages, usually the first number or first index start from the 0, and the second is 1, third one on 2, and so on. Let's represent this information in the JSON notation. So we'll just create another attribute called features, and now it's not a simple value. So this is a primitive value of string. Now the feature is an array of string where we can specify TCT, and we can specify hill assist. Hill assist. So that's how we can define an array. Similarly, if we so here we have sunroof as a feature. So we can see here this square brackets which represent an array, this curly bracket which represent an object. So these three fields are of type string, primitive types, whereas this feature is a bit complex because it consists of list of items. So a list or an array can be represented with these square brackets. So here we can see a bit more complex example where engine is subdivided into multiple fields. So here we can see it was a primitive value. Here we have list of values, but in this case engine is has a sub object. So this is another object within the engine attribute to further nest the information. Let's create this. So we'll have engine here. Now engine is itself a complex object, so we will start with the curly braces, and here we can specify type if it is V8 engine. If there is a capacity 1000 cc or something like that, we can also define XYZ field here, and the value would be here. So that's how we create JSON objects. It's simple, straightforward, no rocket science. The value would be either it's an object, it could be a primitive value, it could be an array of string, and array of complex object is also possible. So let's say we want to keep the information of owners. Let's place here comma here. We can then create an array, and each array will contain the name. So we can call it Asim here, phone number here, something like that. And then we can create another owner, which is name again Bilal, and here we can define the phone number accordingly. So that's how JSON objects are representative, simple and straightforward. You can also define primitive like integer. So 23, it's perfectly fine. This is an integer primitive, this is a string primitive. It depends on your situation, on your requirement. Either you have to use primitive, array, object, or array of an object, or array of a string. I hope that makes sense. Thank you. See you in the next lecture.